All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 10. This is for episode 12. Now it is called Walk With Us. Alright, dudes, and major spoiler warning, if you have not seen this episode yet, you're definitely going to want to watch it before you watch this review. Oh, man, so I want to say this is somewhat of the like a finale episode for Walking Dead, for what's been going on with the Whisperers. Sort of a climactic type of ending, climactic type of episode. And so definitely you want to watch this one before you watch this review. We'll do the live stream later on tonight, predictions for episode 13, because it looks like finally we're going to get to see Michonne's last episode. However, that kind of ties in with what's going on now. Maybe it doesn't at all. And we'll focus on that more in the predictions video coming up. Oh, man. So this episode was really freaking crazy. Unfortunately, it was somewhat kind of spoiled for me yesterday or the day before. Well, you have premiere. So basically, and, it's no fault of anybody's, but, premiere hits Friday night, and at least half the audience has watched it by the time tonight rolls around, by the time Sunday night rolls around. So it's just kind of what it is. I watched it tonight, so at the normal airing time. Just been too busy with work and stuff and everything, so I didn't get a chance to watch it earlier or anything like that. Based on my schedule, just watch it Sunday nights. But it was a fantastic episode. I kind of saw in comments yesterday, Saturday, sort of what we were kind of expecting for the episode. Based on the predictions that we kind of had, I think that we kind of had some idea. The thing is if you don't have Negan be the one to kill Alpha, if you take that away from Negan, then Negan doesn't get to redeem himself, and he basically doesn't get to rejoin the survivors. So you kind of have to have Negan do it if he's going to switch sides and go back to the survivors, unless he's going to stay with the Whisperers, indefinitely. So that's what we see at the end of the episode. And there was all kinds of stuff. I mean, this episode was a really crazy episode. We saw the first 4 minutes. They were released online earlier this week, and some of the most epic kind of scenes we've seen. You have fire everywhere. You have walkers engulfed in flames walking in on fire. You have Carol. She's up there. She's like shooting down a little like arrows, like one particular walker, as you just have this flood of zombies come through. I thought it was really cool when they had Daryl say like the part about jamming them up and that, because I don't think we've ever seen that before, where they kind of block them off, and then they spear him down or they kill him down, and they create a jam or like a dam to stop the flood of the other walkers coming through, so they get stuck on the walker bodies, which was really kind of neat. I don't think we've ever really seen anything like that before, not quite in that way, where they just kind of block it, they put them down, and then they stack up let the bodies hit the floor. They stack up to stop the others from getting in, but you have different parts of the wall going down and being on fire and this whole thing, so eventually they start flooding in from other spots, and pretty much before you know it, the Hilltop is lost, or is basically overrun, as so far our most climactic battle of the Whisper War. And then the part that we didn't get to see, we got to see Judith killing some zombies and a Whisperer there, and that whole thing was just kind of cool, or at least stabbing in the stomach and not finishing it off. And then the part we didn't get to see, you have Magna shows up. So you see Magna, she kind of walks in, blending in with the dead, and I guess they've been leaving her alone since she's was covered in, cave debris or whatever, dirt and everything else. So she was able to kind of walk among them, Whisperer style. And it worked for a while. We get the explanation later that her and Connie were together for a bit. Side by side, but eventually they got kind of split up, and Connie's off somewhere else, we don't know. But I think we are to assume that she's still alive and she's not dead. Otherwise, they would have showed it and used it for part of this episode. And there were a good number of character deaths in this episode. So we have the fire, we have the kind of the boom of the fire going right into the intro, which is really cool, and we have the Walking Dead logo, which is now kind of crispy, which is kind of cool. You got kind of like fizzling, like the fire on it, and it kind of fizzling out. So nice details there. And we have Daybreak. So then we go from kind of this epic battle to Daybreak, I guess we are to assume the next morning, this whole thing, the next day when everything is kind of lifted. And some awesome stuff for Negan in this episode. Some of the best stuff for Negan we've maybe ever seen. Absolutely love what they did with Negan in this one. So he's sort of playing the game, but you can kind of see little hints here and there that he's kind of not playing the game too. So he's on the Whisper side. We have Whisper and Negan. He's trying to fit in and do their thing, but it's kind of a struggle for him. He sees a guy who was a Hilltop fighter, or at least with armor on, that whole thing. We're not sure who he is or anything, but Negan puts him out of his misery with the bat. And then Alpha's like, what are you doing? He's keep them, for the horde. Oh, shit, my bad, right? It's like, yeah, he did it on purpose. He didn't care. He actually was a mistake or whatever. Oh, right, I forgot. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he did it on purpose. But Alpha wants to keep him because she's just, and this one, like, the Whispers are just so savage in this one. Alpha and Beta, and just kind of the way they do things over the years. They're just so bleak and dark, and just everything they do is just, man, it's really crazy how dark the Whisperers actually are. You get to kind of see it in this episode, especially from Beta, which we'll get into in a minute. But, Negan, we got to teach you guys how to savor a victory. Like, here you are, you won the battle. You took down the Hilltop, their main base, basically. There's also Alexandria, but for all the people that live there, Earl and all the rest, you shut it down. I mean, you shut that shit down, no exceptions, right? Everybody's off, no one's there. It's all destroyed. So you won, and there's still, she doesn't have what she wants. She's not happy, right? There's Lydia. So then you have Negan with the scene with Beta, where he calls him Frowny McTwo-Knives, which was fun. That's something he calls him in the comic, which they haven't used yet, which was kind of cool. And so I like to see this one. Maybe Negan being sort of the star of this episode, I guess, in some ways. But it was a dark episode too. So Beta's such a dick. I like that. So that's fun. And he is, and we get to see that later on of just how bad of a dick Beta actually is. He's a tremendous dick. We'll get into it as we go through. So we have Negan trying to hoard around walkers. It's not working, right? He's walking around. He's got the bat and stuff. He's kind of doing the zombie walking stuff. He's like, oh, F this. This isn't working. Just kills the one. Screw this. And just starts killing whatever. And then he sees Lydia. So he sees Lydia kind of stumble through. She's hurt, whatever. He goes after her. There's a part here where he runs into Aaron, and Aaron gets tied up with some walkers, and so then Negan kind of runs off, and he does capture Lydia. And at this time, we're really not sure whether or not Whisper Negan is the kind of the dominant Negan right now, or if he could still change sides. But certainly when he captures Lydia, it really looks like, he's just kind of like taking her, right? He's kidnapping her, basically. Sorry, kid. And he's got the dark complexion and everything with the eyes and everything, and he just takes her, right? So it's kind of a part where it makes you think that he's on the Whisper side 100%. He's doing this for Alpha. He's been in bed with the Whispers literally, so now it's kind of like, well, you definitely could make a case that he's with them, right? So, and that's what it is. So then we go to some stuff with we have Alden, Adam, Kelly, and we have Gamma. So I guess we should go into it right away. This is, Gamma gets killed off, and then we see her walk with us as a walker, and Alden, puts her down. So you have the stuff with the baby. So some happy stuff here that she gets to actually see Adam and get to spend a little bit of time with him. You get a little bit of Alden's trying his best, but he's not he's not very good with the baby. I mean, yeah, you give it to the mommy, right? It's what you do. So, but she wasn't there. Frances was her name that Gamma says, but Gamma actually kind of is able to quiet the baby down for a little bit until a whole bunch of walkers show up. Then they get stuck. They go into a van to protect the baby, and Gamma goes out to kill the walkers, and she gets to be happy for a minute, right, here. So she's killing off some walkers, which probably feels good for her. You can kind of tell, because maybe she hasn't done it for a while, maybe she really wanted to, but the Whisper rules are that you can't kill the Guardians, as Negan has violated earlier on. So we get the sense that, she's enjoying killing some walkers. She looks up, she sees the sun, she spends some time with Adam, and I guess her, her journey is somewhat complete. And you have that quiet-ass, big-ass son of a bitch, Beta, just walk in and gut her, which is a horrifying scene to watch. Absolutely. I mean, Beta's killing girls left, right, and center. And can I say that it made me at the very least uncomfortable as a man. You have male on female violence. I took no satisfaction watching the scenes through of Beta, what he's doing here. And I feel like at this point, Beta is just so brutal and he's so vicious and he's so just inhuman that even the guy recognizes his face and kind of knows who he is and recognizes his voice, which sort of confirms for us that the Easter egg in Fear that Beta was a musician before, because there's a cover album with him kind of on it on the cover. One of the Whisperers recognizes his face as Gamma kind of pulls. At least she got that right. She got his. I like that. She got have his face mask off, his Whisper mask off, and another Whisperer notices him and sees him and recognizes his voice because he's basically like a famous singer. Are we to say country singer, something like this, something like that, right? Whatever, some kind of famous artist or singer. And just because the guy recognizes Beta, he kills him. So this is what Beta does. He's just like the Terminator. He just goes around killing people. He's killing girls, whoever they are. He doesn't care. He's gutting them, or he's bashing their heads against cages, or prison bars, or whatever the case may be. He feels just about no empathy. He's subservient to Alpha for some effing reason. And, I guess maybe he cares for her, but he certainly doesn't seem to care for just about anybody else. It's brutal, man. It's brutal to watch some of these scenes through for me. And I felt really sorry for Gamma, but, I guess Beta is really the one that we're to be afraid of now. And, yeah, be very afraid. Be very scary. He's pretty smart. And, as the arrow comes through to put Gamma down, he kind of runs off very quick. He's fast. He's physically, intimidating, and he feels no sense of empathy and will spare no one. Right, is what he is. So he's a monster. He is, as truth is, as close as you could possibly get to a monster. Beta is a monster. Feel bad for Gamma. So, but at least she got to be happy before her time came in this one. So you have that. I just wrote down. Beta is a bastard, killing girls. Male on female violence, brutal. And there's a lot of on-female violence in this episode. So you have that one. So that one got me. And then you have Carol with Eugene and the scenes with her. More on-female violence as Carol gets punched in the mouth. Oh my God. Again, I know I'm laughing, but I take no pleasure in any of this because I don't like to see, it's like you get it from Yumiko. It makes sense that she'd do it. Because Carol's just consumed with vengeance and the whole thing, and that's what's kind of weird about this, is we'll get to when we discuss the final kind of scene in the episode. But it's sort of like as much as you want to be happy for Carol that she finally gets her vengeance, it's like so many people die and everything, and Alpha's a monster. There's no question about it. She probably had to be eliminated one way or another. She wasn't going to change her ways. She was getting worse, not better, as time went on, to the point where she was going to kill Lydia and everything. And so, it's just like, I guess she kind of had to die. But, to get to see the head for Carol at the end, and for it to confirm the theory that Carol was the one who released Negan to start with, and that theory was true, that we had, that Carol would be the one to do it. She let him go to bring Alpha's head back, and her response took you long enough. So we have that. Carol absolutely obsessed with vengeance. Well, she's got it now. I wonder if it'll make her feel any better, and we'll probably see that in a few episodes here before the end of the season. But, it's brutal to see Yumiko punch her. And there's just, girls are running this show. So much on-female violence. The guys would never write this shit in. They never would. Be like, wait, you're going to have her punch her? What about, you're going to have this big guy stab her in the stomach? Oh my God, I can't do that. And the Protector drives an overload, right? Protect. So, it's definitely, girls don't feel that, right? They don't have that same male Protector drive to protect the girls, right? So they're more vicious, right? Kimple, you got nothing. You got nothing, man. Killing girls, right? Left, right, and center. Girls punching each other, punching ladies in the mouth because, Carol's older at this point, but oh, it's brutal, man. It's hard for me to watch. It's like, oh, don't do that. But it makes sense, but don't do it. Hard to watch, man. It's terrifying episode. Absolutely terrifying for me to watch this one. So we have that. We have somewhat of a breakup, kind of, but then maybe a makeup right away between Magna and Yumiko and whatever, I don't know, their crazy relationship, whatever they got going on there, right? So it's cool. And then you've got Eugene, who, it's all like babies and relationships and shit. Like Nabila, where's my baby? So, you can understand she'd be scared, right? You can, it makes sense, right? You feel for her and everything like that. So you have that, and so they're looking for the kids and everything, finding them later, and that we'll get into stuff with Earl in a minute, but just the scene. So Eugene's going to go to the meetup anyway, because even though the world's going to shit and everybody's killing everybody and people are dying all over the place, Eugene's got a date, so he's got to make his date. And his equipment's all destroyed too, so he can't communicate any further, so now he's really got to go. Which, I mean, in a way, it's one guy you can spare that could find a community that maybe you could find safe haven if you happen to lose the rest of the Whisper War, as things are not completely done, because you've killed Alpha. But now Beta is, as bad as Beta is now, he's going to be on absolute rampage after this is done. Walk with us, huh? It was just, oh my God, right? So he's going to kind of take over lead now, I guess, before the end of the season or something, man. Wouldn't want to mess with him before. And he seemed like at least with Alpha, he was a little bit happy sometimes when he was around her and stuff, or at least he had some kind of structure with Alpha. Now that Alpha's gone, and he finds out, he is going to be just ready to absolutely, oh my God, burn it all down. Like, as bad as it was before, it's going to be even worse, right? We haven't seen Beta really pissed off yet like that. Not really pissed off. Now, we're going to assume. So we have all that stuff. We have Daryl and Rosita. We have the stuff with Earl and the kids and Judith and that. So the Earl one made me really sad, but I thought that I actually liked the way they did it through, in terms of, like, he tries to commit suicide, but he's weak and he's tired, and so he can't slam it with enough force. It kind of, I guess, it does sort of kill him, but it doesn't destroy his brain, so he ends up turning anyway, right? Which I actually kind of like, because I thought that made sense, because a lot of times you see it, and, someone does something like that, and then TV logic is to have him just be dead. But you kind of sit there thinking, as you're watching, like, well, that wouldn't kill him, like it would, or maybe it would kill him, but it wouldn't destroy his brain so he doesn't turn. And sure enough, they were smart enough to go one further, where it's like, oh, he didn't just kill himself. He did, but then it wasn't enough to stop him from being zombified, so then Judith has to actually put him down later. They find the kids, that's all kind of happy and stuff like that. Daryl's kind of running through and everything, try to find them, Rosita and the others, Ezekiel, and you have all that, and it's revealed that that Judith was able to take care of Zombie Earl. It was all good, and everybody was okay except for Earl, with the reveal with the bite and everything, which I think we mostly thought most likely would happen anyway, right, with Earl, just based on what we've seen with him recently. He's been spotlighted a bit. They got the catapults that they're shooting over the Hilltop wall, which was really cool and everything, and that was kind of neat. So there was that. And then, to bring things through to the end here. Okay, so we wrap things up basically here with the scenes between Negan and Alpha, and the switcheroo of the, what is that, a cabin, or I guess some kind of cabin or something like this, shed, whatever you want to call it. And so you have kind of the switch, which I actually liked. I thought that was pretty good, because I didn't see that. I thought that Alpha was going to walk into that, find Lydia, and then Negan would kill her before Alpha would kill her daughter. I thought that made sense, but it turned out that Alpha knows that she's been cutthroated before she dies. So you have Negan, who talks about his wife, talks about the cancer and everything, it's setting her free and everything, and he's getting a bit emotional here, and he's calling her out, saying it's bullshit, pretending, and this whole thing, and she's going on about the nature and and everything like this, the animalistic whisper philosophy that they have, and death setting people free and whatnot, and just some very dark stuff. And you have, so they slowly kind of walk up to the so some stuff in here is pretty good. They walk up to the thing, and when she gets there, or you have Lydia, who's kind of trying to escape in time, so it's kind of exciting, and you're led to believe it's the same one. And then as she opens the door, you realize, oh, he put her somewhere else, and he's leading Alpha to an empty place. And then when the time is right here, and there's nobody around, and she's been lured off into a location, Negan gained her trust. He slept with her. He did all this stuff to get in with her, and it turns out that he's doing what he has to for Lydia. Did he kind of give Alpha a chance here or something? He had the agreement with Carol, and maybe he was struggling with it, and he wasn't sure entirely what he was going to do. I kind of get the sense here that he switched it in case. And when he got the confirmation here, this is the way I think of this through, is that when he got the confirmation here that Alpha was going to kill Lydia, she was going to kill her daughter, and she was going to do it, then Negan, there was no turning back at that point. And he was emotional around that time, whatever, but he decided that that's the time that he had to do it. He had to eliminate Alpha to save Lydia and to save all the others that Alpha would in turn kill. There was a little bit of talk there about Lion and that whole thing, and whether or not Negan would even have been able to stay with him afterwards anyway, or whether she would have cast him out afterwards, or what would have happened. Yeah, something like something that doesn't matter now because Alpha's dead, so none of that really carries forward. But that was kind of the way I interpreted the scene there. Or, you could argue Negan was kind of, maybe for a bit he was possibly thinking about it, but, because maybe his ethics are a bit questionable, whether or not he'd stay with the Whispers or whatever. But, clearly, he's not going to be that selfish when it comes to, Alpha killing her daughter and doing stuff like this. Once he got that, I feel like, for me at least, in the way I view Negan, once he figured out that Alpha was too far gone, there was no way she was going to start killing, she's going to be killing kids and stuff like this, and he doesn't even know, I think, that she's left babies or whatever behind and stuff like this. Maybe he has some idea, but now he's getting to see it to where she's going to walk forward and be excited to kill her daughter. That's when I think he knows that he's going to do it, or at least based on the agreement with Carol earlier, he decides that now's the time for him to do it. And then there's the scene at the end with the head roll and everything like that, which I was still kind of sad to see Alpha at the end when she dies here, and you just see her head there and everything, and kind of roll forward and everything. And you see Negan meet with Carol, and it is kind of a big reveal at the end here that the whole thing was kind of orchestrated, which we did kind of see as at least a possibility ahead of time, and now that's kind of come through to fruition. So it was an intense episode, man. The battle at the beginning was amazing. You do have some huge character deaths in this one. Finally, the death for Alpha, which people have been expecting to see for a little while. Eventually here we are to assume that Beta will probably, or the Whispers will find her body somewhere there, because she's going to have gone missing. He's going to be looking, trying to find out where she is, and probably eventually here put two and two together and figure out that Negan was likely the one who did this. And so he's going to be not happy in a couple episodes by the end of this season. So in terms of score for the episode, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was a climactic episode. I thought it was dark. I thought it was horrific. I thought it was scary. It didn't really make me happy for anything. I wasn't happy to see the delivery from Negan. Special delivery, right? There's Glenn, the pizza boy, right? Special delivery. Negan having a special delivery there for Carol and kind of giving it to her and kind of having the big reveal. So a lot of it to the end was about kind of the twists and the reveals, which I thought were really good. But none of it made me feel happy because it was a very violent episode, and a lot of women on the receiving end of that violence in this one. So me finding that further making me even further kind of uncomfortable, especially with Beta and his continued onslaught, killing anyone in sight. I'm okay with them killing men, but when they start killing girls, it's kind of like, it's not like a war crime, you win, you beat somebody, you kill the win, like, you're gonna do that, I don't know. It's a zombie apocalypse, whatever. It's 10 years in. It's Whispers are crazy. They're brutal. They're dark. They're everything like that. But I don't know. Isn't that sort of an unspoken kind of rule in warfare that if you win, you don't kill the girls. Maybe you kill the female soldiers. Okay. And maybe you could say Gamma was one of those. But can't you just knock her out or something? I don't know. It's like, Anyway, but then you have the stuff with Negan and Alpha too, and then Carol getting punched in the mouth and stuff. So yeah, it's what it is. But it was a great episode and everything. And I'm not sitting here bashing or complaining about it or anything. I'm just telling you guys the way I felt when I watched it through. But that's just me, and I'm me and I'm weird and all that stuff. So that's cool. How did you guys feel watching this one through? Did you like the reveal at the end? Was it surprising and shocking to you that Carol and Negan sort of set this up, and Negan earned Alpha's trust to wait for the right time when he'd be able to do the deal, and that they had kind of set up ahead of time? How do you feel about Carol getting her vengeance in this type of way? And, what do you think about, that's the way I felt about Beta's behavior. What do you guys think about Beta as our prime villain now that Alpha's dead? Do you find him even more scary than Alpha once he's going to find out about this? And just, what do you think about, kind of his take no prisoner type of mentality, let everyone join, but as the dead, and for Beta to allow them to walk with them, right? So yeah, I don't know. So crazy stuff. Anyway, looking forward to seeing Michonne's episode here. What the hell's going to happen with that? We'll get into that in a minute in the video predictions, and then we'll talk lots more about it in the live stream tonight, which will probably be around midnight or so at Eastern time. So let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Hope that doesn't make you upset with the review or anything. It's just kind of the way I felt when I watched it through. Just being honest with you guys, going through everything with you. It was an amazing episode and everything was awesome. I did really like it, but it just made me feel very uncomfortable as a man at some parts watching this one through here. Let me know what you guys think. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another. As always, this is Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.